Like Ready for the World said, what's good for the goose is always good for the gander. Here are 10 things I want to teach my daughter before I die. Welcome back into the Void of Intelligence. I'm here today because I have the continuation of my previous list of 10 things I want to teach my kids before I die. And this time it's 10 things that I want to teach my little girl, the CEO of this family, before I expire. So I hope you're paying attention. And I know, coming from a male or father, some of these things might be a little, hopefully not chauvinistic or misogynistic, but I really do think, coming from a man, these things might be important for a woman. So here we go. 10 things I want to teach my daughter before I die. Number one, know your worth. It isn't tied to anything besides your word, your work ethic, or your level of responsibility. A lot of times people are going to tie your worth as a woman to things that you don't have any control over, whether it's your body or etc. But once you realize that the only thing your worth is tied to is your word, how you work, and how responsible you are, after a while, looks don't even matter anymore, especially in the real world and a world of maturity. And I think it's only whenever you're dealing with kids and people that are not mature that they're going to always tie your worth to what they see and not value you for what you're worth. Number two, learn how to protect yourself. Learn basic self-defense skills. Now, nobody's asking you to be Ronda Rousey or Layla Ali, but as a woman, people are going to try you because they think that you may be frail or weak or not able to defend yourself. So at some point in your life, I'm going to want you to go and take some basic self-defense skills, whether it's hand-to-hand combat or even this day and age learning how to protect yourself with a firearm or some type of weapon. Being able to have that level of confidence when you go out so you don't have to need another figure, male figure or somebody with you to be able to protect yourself. So learning how to protect yourself and basic self-defense skills is going to be great as you grow up. And hopefully it won't allow you to depend on anybody other than you. Number three, confidence is the only accessory that you need. You can have earrings, you can have hair, you can have clothes, this, that, and the other. But if you don't have confidence, all of those things don't matter at all. It's not what you have, it's how you wear it. It's not what you do, it's how you do it. So many people lack confidence, and especially I see from the female gender, males are like that too, where they have a lack of confidence, so they have to be gaudy, they have to be peacocks, uh, they have to be flashy in order to feel like there's something. But if you have confidence, you can make anything work, whether it's a backwards hat or just a regular plain t-shirt, or you don't even have to wear earrings or fancy hair. Just keep up with yourself and carry yourself in a way that's confident. Then you're going to pull all the people, you're going to pull all the attention, you're going to gather all the attention that you need and not necessarily want, because sometimes that attention that you get from doing all those things is not always positive attention. Confidence is the only accessory that you need. Number four, don't leverage your morals against anything. We live in a world where morals are scattered to begin with, and people don't carry themselves in a way that they probably should. People are going to always do things to get an advantage. People are going to always do something to get ahead. And I hope that you, as a lady, don't ever leverage your morals against anything. It's not worth anything to compromise who you are, or your word, or your name for anything in the world. So never leverage your morals against anything. It's okay to be by yourself if you're right. But to be along with the crowd and you're wrong is always a different story. So don't ever leverage your morals against anything, because in the long run, it's not going to help out who you are, and more than likely you're going to tend to look back and regret those things that you did. Number five, acknowledge the inequality and rise above. There, I said it. People are not going to look at you like you're equal. Not only because you're a woman, because of the color of your skin also. And that goes for anybody. But we're going to talk about it from the standpoint of being a woman. Acknowledge the inequality. Accept who you are. It is not a disability, it's not a hindrance, it is not one of those things designed to make you believe that you're not better than anyone else. Acknowledge it, use it as your strength, rise above it, and with that confidence, you'll be able to do big things. You're going to garner the respect of people who don't respect others. You have to accept who you are, be true to who you are, acknowledge that. And once you use that as a weapon, you can rise above and then you'll be an unstoppable force. Which leads into my next point. Number 6, control your emotions, control the world. Women are so powerful. You can look back to the times of Cleopatra, some of the great women in the world, the Winnie Mandelas, the Coretta Scott Kings. Control your emotions and control the world. The strength that you have in your voice, the strength that you have in your screams, the strength that you have in your work and your example. If you can harness that, you can command an army. You can command some of the strongest men in the world. Because the saying says behind every strong man is a strong woman. Or behind every great man is a great woman. If you control your emotions, you can direct those great people. Not necessarily men, it can be anybody. It can be yourself. When you control your emotions, people will always take you seriously. No one will ever bat an eye when you say something. And everyone will always take you seriously because of that confidence, because of not leveraging your morals, because you acknowledge everything and you rise above it. You control your emotions. You set an example that's just paramount to anything that we've ever seen. You control your emotions, you can be the first female president of the United States of America. It is not impossible, but you have to control your emotions. Because like with anyone, man or woman, your emotions can ultimately be your downfall because of how strong they are. You have to harness that, control that, and focus that into something positive, focus that into something great. And that way you can control the world if you want to. Number 7, don't waste anyone's time, including your own. Now this is going to lead on to the back half, which is in regards to things like relationships and things of that such with people in general. Don't waste anyone's time. Respect people's time. Time is the only currency that's limited to everyone. Time is more valuable than money. Time is more valuable than anything else in the world because you cannot replenish it. So if you don't waste anyone's time, including your own, you'll be able to do those great things. You won't be able to lead people astray. You won't be able to send mixed signals. You're always going to be a level where people take you seriously and you take them seriously. And that reciprocity is something that's going to be able to garner you great relationships, whether in business or personal, right? So don't waste anyone's time, including your own. Number 8, date boys, marry men. There's going to come a time where I won't be the most important boy in your life. But in the meantime, here's a piece of advice for you. You want to have fun? Date boys. You date as many as you want, do as much as you want, have as much fun as you want. As long as you follow all those things that we talked about. But when it's time to get married and get serious, marry a man. Just like yourself. You're going to be a girl when you date. And when you're ready to get married, you're going to be a woman. Because once you get to that point and you take marriage serious, marriage is something that's for men and women. Because there are going to be things, there are going to be problems, there are going to be issues, whether it's between you two or things that have to do with your kids or just being together in general. Boys are immature, girls are immature, men and women are mature. They're able to have arguments and then get better because of them. They can get better through strife. They can get better through pain. They can get better through struggle. Some boys and girls are not ready for that. So that's why you date them. Date them as long as you want. But when it's time to get married, make sure that you marry a man that you can grow together and be a woman with. Number 9, if you're old enough to have intercourse, you're old enough to have children. To go with those things before. That's a very serious thing. And I know it's going way over your head, but a lot of the problems that we have is because people aren't mature enough to carry out on those things that they did because they thought they were. It's very serious with things out in the world with sickness and unwanted pregnancies and whatnot. If you're old enough to carry out that action, you're going to be old enough to deal with the repercussions. And we're not looking at it from a negative standpoint because guess what? You're here because of that. And that's wonderful. But two people had to be mature enough to be able to have the foresight to see what having you is and what having you brings forth, the responsibilities. And being able to care for you from the time that you were in your mommy's belly till the time that you're going to grow up and be a parent of your own. So here's the thing about that is there are going to be things that you can do and will be able to do. But make sure you're old enough and mature enough to handle those things. And also old enough and mature enough to be able to deal with anything that comes along with it. And number 10, never let anyone make you choose between something and your children. No one should, right? Never let no job come in between your children and you. Never let another person come between your children and you. Never let any circumstance come between your children and you. The closest bond that a mother can have is with their child. So, and if anyone on this earth is going to make you choose between something and your child, you know that they don't have your best interests, they don't have the best interest of your children, and they don't have the best interests in general. Some people are might be just that selfish to make you choose between yourself and your children. And you know there are instances where jobs might make you do that, professions will make you do that, even potential spouses or significant others might make you do that. When it's all said and done, the bond that you have between your children is the closest thing that you have, and it's unbreakable. And never let anybody come between you and your children. So that's 10 things that I want to teach you before I go. And hopefully you take those 10 things to heart. And hopefully these 10 things are things that can help you along the way. So to recap, know your worth. Learn how to protect yourself. Confidence is the only accessory you need. Don't leverage your morals against anything. Acknowledge the inequality and rise above. Control your emotions. Don't waste anyone's time. Date boys, marry men. If you are old enough to do it, you're old enough to have children. And never let anyone choose between X and your children, because no one should. Oh yeah, and I almost forgot there's one more thing. One more thing. So I guess that would be number 11, right? So we talked about never let anyone choose between X and your children. The last one is a wife and a mother are two different things. Okay? Two of the most important hats that you can hold in this world is the one of a wife and the one of a mother. And those two hats aren't the same. And that's very complicated. So that's why even whenever some people that aren't wives or mothers, it's hard enough. But whenever you do carry that extra hat of being a wife and a mother, it can oftentimes be overwhelming. Because there's so many people in this world that are dependent on you that is really, really tough to navigate. So with all that being said, just being old enough and mature to handle those things, or at least being old enough and mature to have a handle on those things, including emotions, you can be able to navigate the tough terrain of motherhood and, I guess, wifehood, right? So, a wife and a mother are two different things. They're not the same. same as a husband and a father. Those are two different things. You are serving two different types of people, and sometimes those two different types of people don't always want the same thing. So all these things come together. So that being said, those are 10 things that I want to teach you before I die. So thanks for joining me once again in the Void of Intelligence. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And I'll see you in the next video.